Welcome to the Di-scussions podcast, Seher Kaya. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there, and I know you've been through a lot, which we will, of course, I'm sure, touch upon. But
Yeah,
it's really nice to see you right now. And we met at Wadapalooza this year, and I was very excited to meet you.
I was excited to meet you too. My friend Lena, she was talking a lot of nice things about you, and we just met in a very like random place. I didn't even like. I was like at the time I was like I told you I was sick, so I was like my brain wasn't exactly where it should be. But then I saw you. I was like, "Who's this beautiful woman?" So it
Oh,
was like it kind of healed me, I guess. I don't know.
oh, Seher! Oh my God!
I was like, I feel fine now.
Oh, you're so cute. Lina said wonderful things about you as well. And of course, I've been a big fan of you. You go on your Instagram and it's interesting because you put Turkish girl living in Norway, 3 times CrossFit Games athlete, and I feel like that's such a simple way of describing someone who has been so inspiring to a lot of people in this world. And, I'd love to perhaps touch upon and start with your background because you were born in Norway to Turkish Muslim parents, right?
Right.
And the Middle East isn't traditionally known for encouraging women into sports or even into sports that would be considered quote unquote masculine because it does build out muscles, something like CrossFit. So you look athletic, you look super strong, and I'd love to know how you got into sports.
So it was because of my mom. She was always trying to get her kids. Like my mom has 5 kids, or I have like we have a big family, and she always wanted us to do sports. And I'm the oldest in my family, and she always like took us to different kind of sports. And I did handball, I did swimming, I did dancing, everything. And every time I wanted to quit a sport, she was like, okay, then we find a new one. So she was like refusing me to not do sports. And then, like, after when I got older, I was like, why was it so important for you, for me or my siblings to do sports? Because you like, you always like wanted us to continue. And she said that it was because she wanted to give us the opportunity that she didn't have. And she also saw, of course, that I had a love for movement and active lifestyle, and I kind of was myself when I was on the field or on training or anything. So she saw something that I, in that time, was too young, or I wasn't understanding what it gave me. Uh, and but she did, obviously, and tried to push me further to do it. So yeah, that was how I did it, because of my mom, thankfully.
Do you think that, and I don't know if this is something you had asked her, but did your mom want to be into sports but wasn't allowed to, or didn't have the opportunity, or perhaps not the time? Is that why she then had that feeling of, I want to give you what I didn't have?
Yeah, it was exactly because of that. She thought, oh, it was so cool, and she actually was quite active when she didn't have, well, be busy with us to raise us. And she still loves it, but yeah, doesn't do it as much. But yeah, that was, she kind of, I guess, lived the dream from me and siblings, I guess.
Does she love to watch you compete?
Yes, she does. She never, like, first time she watched me compete in CrossFit was actually in Turkey 2 years ago. And she didn't like quite understand what it was before then. And in Turkey, like, I have awesome people there that they think is so important, or like they love to see me represent Turkey at the games. So when I went there for my first Turkish competition in front of home crowd, then she was like, oh, okay, now I understand. This is like, this is important for them, and for you, of course, but you have to keep doing this. And after that is like, she understands way more how, CrossFit works and competitions and all that. So she just had to see it, for herself before she understand.
That's beautiful. And right now we're actually at the tail end of Ramadan, which is the holiest month in the Muslim faith, where um, people fast during the daylight hours. Now, are you currently fasting?
I am not, unfortunately.
Is it because it's very hard to be an athlete and do Ramadan at the same time?
Yes, it's because of that. I have done it before, but each time it's like super hard, and it's like we are in season right now. Uh, I try to give, or like, I go to the mosque and I try to donate and do other things that to participate in Ramadan, of course. And I like big credits to everyone that does fast and have the can keep the balance. For me, it's been hard, so I decided not to. And we can also catch up the fast later on in the season, that when the season is over. So yeah, it's other ways to participate.
And from what I understand as well, I mean, you're in Norway, which is a European country, and in a lot of Arab countries during the month of Ramadan, they basically change certain hours when it comes to working, etc., so that people have an easier time fasting. So you're already in a country that doesn't necessarily observe Ramadan, so those measures aren't put in place for you to, perhaps have a quote unquote easier time doing Ramadan. So you add the athlete life, then you add that, and I can only imagine how hard it must be. But also
Yeah.
from a mental perspective for you, coming to that decision, because I know your faith is so important to you, coming to that decision of, oh no, I just really cannot do this. Was that really hard on you?
Yeah, it was obviously, because I always get asked that question and people wonder why I don't. I Ramadan is not supposed to be, you're not supposed to break yourself during this month. And it's said that, like, if you get sick, or if it's any reason that you shouldn't fast, you like don't kind of be too hard on yourself. I mean, just not because, like, oh, I don't want to. That's not a kind of valid reason. But if you are sick or pregnant, or anything, you're not supposed to. And I know that right now I have to train so hard to, uh, if I want to compete and do good in this upcoming competitions. And if I go on and fast and train hard, it's gonna lead to injuries. And yeah, I just don't want to do that to myself right now. But obviously, like, it's other ways I can uh, be a part of the religion, I guess, or show my faith. And I still go to the mosque to pray, and you know all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a really hard decision to come to. And, with regards to your culture, I touched on it a bit in the introduction. Having muscles as a woman isn't necessarily, or at least in the past, celebrated in Arab culture. And here you are so proudly displaying all the hard work that you've put into your body on the competition floor. And I'd love to know, what's your current relationship like with your body?
So I'm more about, like, what my body can do. And of course, like, I just want to stay healthy, and I am happy that my body works and that I can do all these things. And I know that it's not like I don't want to be say something wrong here, but muscles with like muscles and women hasn't always been uh, I guess like it's more a man thing to have muscles in Arab or Middle Eastern countries, and that's how it has been. But I love to see more women do sports and take care of their health and just staying healthy. And I hope I can represent that. And yeah, like I said, I am not so focused on how my body looks. I just want to stay fit and compete in a high level, and that's it.
I love that. And what are your plans this CrossFit season?
I for now I'm doing Far East Throwdown, which is the Korean South Korean semifinal, which I have been to 3 times, and I love it there. I love the people there, and it's like it's my competition. I have to go there. So yeah, when I saw that they are doing it like as a semifinal event again, I was like, yeah, that's one of the semifinals I want to go to. And also probably doing the online semifinal. But it's like it's no secret that this season is kind of weird, if I can say so. And like when I was has the season started with me being sick and didn't feel too well, I missed out on a lot of qualifications, which is like that's meant to be, maybe I should like I it wasn't meant for me to go to those competitions, and I was kind of sad uh for a few weeks ago, but then I tried to turn it around and think that okay, that's like it's a sign that I wasn't supposed to push my body through all this, and yeah, that's how it is. So yeah, I'm doing the Far East one and online one, and then we will see what more is in store.
So when you say that you missed a few of the qualifications, that include the World Fitness Project as well?
Yes, I missed that one, and I was starting to feel better, but it was like that was the mistake we did because we started too early, me feeling good, and then we started hard training, and then I got sick again. And then me and my coach decided to stay out of that the World Fitness one, which was hard for me to because I trained at CrossFit Oslo and everyone there or many athletes there do the qualifications for World Fitness and they are like crushing it, and I love to see I am very happy to see them do good, and a few of our athletes did qualify and other ones was very close, which is like that's so cool to have that environment to train around. But I'm also a human, and I it was hard to be around to because I also wanted to give it a shot and see if I could possibly qualify. So yeah, these weeks has been like a mental battle. But that's for every athlete or every person, everyone goes through that kind of stuff.
I do think, it's so hard to believe it or want to hear it when you're in the midst of things. But I do think things happen for a reason.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you said, you enjoy competing in Busan, in South Korea so much. And I'd love to know what you think of the Asian CrossFit scene. And the reason why I ask is I actually started CrossFit when I was living in Asia. I was there for 7 years.
yeah.
And I've kind of seen the sport grow, and I've also felt that the CrossFit Asian scene is not. I wouldn't say it has to be prioritized. I feel like it's kind of put to the wayside a little bit, but there's so
Mm.
much potential there, not only in terms of the market, but also in terms of the people and just the quality of movement and strength and everything else. And what has your experience been doing CrossFit in Asia?
Um, it's been like it seems like it's so much passion for CrossFit, for the people. Every time I go to a box or I talk to the people I meet at the event, it's so much passion and it's so fun to see that. But yeah, it's, I will say, like in other Asia countries, it's kind of behind. Like in Turkey also, it's like with the coaches and having professional athletes, I guess. Um, so I don't know. It's I think it's gonna take some time, and it's a lot of people living there, so it's a lot of potential for upcoming athletes in those countries, which I'm super excited about, and I hope I can kind of inspire more athletes doing this in like a full time. But yeah, I think it's gonna take a few years before we are like at European level or US level with coaches and professionalism.
Yeah, and how do you even get to Busan from Oslo? Tell me, what does that
Oh,
look like? Because that must be really tough.
yeah, it's a long travel. It's I think the longest travel I had to Busan is like 34 hours or something like this. But then I had to sleep or like take the plane the day after, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like about 20 to 25 hours to get there, which is it's a long travel, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
I love that you see it that way. If you could choose another city in Asia where the semifinal could be held, what city would it be?
Uh, in I mean, I would love to have it in. Is that a basic answer? But Dubai, does that count?
Yeah, it counts. I mean,
Yeah.
even Turkey counts. You can
Okay.
have
Yeah.
it
Turkey too. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Sorry.
in front of a hometown crowd.
Yeah. I should have said that. Never mind.
Well, who knows? We're putting it out there. I know
Yeah.
it's been
Right.
in Busan. I think, is this the third year in a row that it's in Busan?
Fourth.
Fourth. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've competed three times at the CrossFit Games. So
Yeah.
you came 29th in 2022,
Mhm.
23rd in 2023, and then
Mhm.
21st in 2024. So I'm seeing a trend here. So
Yeah.
what are you hoping for this year?
Uh, I mean, it would be nice to jump off the like 20, I think I can get like up to like 15 or something. That would be great. But yeah, I'm like, I think the mistake I've done the previous years is focusing too much on the result. So I think I'm just not gonna do that this year and see maybe that can give me a better outcome.
And when you are competing, are you looking at the leaderboard? Are you refreshing it nonstop? Or are you someone who's like, I'm just going to give 100% and not care about the leaderboard until the end?
I am, yeah, I am. I know like athletes don't want to know their placements or, don't want to see that before it all ends. But I am one athlete that does refresh and see the leaderboard and placement on that event, this event. And yeah, I just like to know. But I think it's fine that I see it, but it's different if you focus too much on it or have like bad if a event goes bad, I'm like breaking myself down on it or anything, I don't know. So that's yeah, that's a mental part to train at, I guess, or train on. But yeah, I do watch it. Yeah.
Hey, whatever works. At the end of the day, we're all humans with our own ways of doing things and own like certain things will set a fire in some people and in others it won't. And if that's something that works for you, then so be it. And I remember I was talking to Ken's, and for listeners who don't know Ken's, she works for the Wadapalooza team. So Ken's, who's a friend of yours as well, she said she realized at the tier cup just how competitive you are.
Yeah,
And she meant it in the best possible way. Like there was a fire that you could see on the competition floor within you. Did you
yeah.
feel that?
Yeah, I always been that way. I don't say like I am if we lose, I'm like, making a scene, throwing things around, I'm not that kind of person, but you can clearly see that I didn't like that feeling, and you can see that on the documentary, and that's probably what Ken saw also. Every time we lost the event, I was like more quiet, no, more like but my body language changed a little bit. So yeah, I don't like that, and I try to use it to feel for the next one. And also, like in theory, was like a lot of trash talking, which I think is so fun. So that was probably a part of the fire she saw. I think it should be more trash talking, and people are too scared to hurt feelings and stuff, and that's like it's okay. Like just throw it out there. It's no hard feelings. So, like we all are in this.
I mean, I love a good trash talk session, to be honest.
Yeah.
When it comes to sports, I think it definitely motivates me too. What is it about the tier cup that you loved? And for the listeners who don't know what the tier cup is, it's team one versus team two format, made up of some of the best athletes in each region, and each team represents a specific region. And it's you're putting together a lot of athletes who are used to competing individually into a team, and you may or may not know them very well, and then you mix it up and you just place them on a competition floor. Now, what is it that you liked about that?
Um, it was just a unique experience because you obviously have heard of every athlete that you are on a team with or going against. So I was like, wow, this is like you don't get this opportunity many times. And what was so cool was like we didn't know each other. I didn't know any of my teammates. I met them on competition, but we don't really like talk in that way. But everyone was so nice to each other, and we just became a team on like 24 hours. It was like so cool, and how everyone was like so understanding because when you're on a team, you don't want to, let anyone down, or you don't want to be the reason that you lost or the team lost, But it was no like hard feelings. Everyone was understanding, and if you did something wrong, or I guess something, it was like it's not just your fault, So yeah, everyone, it was so professional and nice, and yeah, even though we didn't win that one, it was one of my favorite experience.
I watched the documentary. It was great. It was a great watch. It was really fun to see you guys just kind of come together and laugh. And at the end of the day, athletes, you guys play for a living, right? It may not feel like play, but hopefully, maybe that event felt more like play. And that's probably the reason why you started becoming an athlete anyway, right? Because you loved playing.
Yeah,
Do you know if you'll be doing the Tier Cup this year?
I don't know. They just announced that they are, I guess, starting to look for athletes. So we'll see. Hopefully, I will get an email about it. But I guess they are trying to get some new faces first and then see what happens.
So
But
we
it will be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
mean, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. It seems like you had a good time.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Tier Cup. We talked about World Fitness Project. These are events that are outside of your typical CrossFit Games season.
Mhm.
What do you think is going on in the CrossFit scene right now? And for listeners who might not know, CrossFit is up for sale, for example. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, a lot of changes implemented or lack of changes implemented, a lot of opinions circling as well, and different athletes choosing to do the CrossFit Games season, other athletes choosing not to or doing a mix. And what do you think CrossFit is doing right now?
I haven't looked too much into it. I saw that it's up for sale for finding a new CEO, I guess. Um, I hope they can find someone that runs the show better, if if that's fine to say, because it's a lot of things that they have done that doesn't make sense, but also like I don't have any experience on what it is like to run a big brand like that. So I don't know. They have been making it kind of hard for athletes a few times, but also like I hope CrossFit Games goes to something better, and it seems like they do this change to do so that they can give it the responsibility to someone that can um, take it to the next level. So that's all I have to say about that.
Mm. I understand. And for you, what does a better CrossFit Games look like? Is it safety? Is it athlete payout? Is what in your mind, if you could imagine the best CrossFit Games possible for you, what would that be?
Obviously, yeah, the safety one is after last year, we see that how important that is, and it has been taking much more serious. And in CrossFit, is like, yeah, or any sport, it's always a risk for athletes to get injured or, because we are doing the only thing we are thinking about is the best placement I can get on that event and nothing else. So we need someone else to take take the responsibility for that. And yeah, I mean, payouts is also a big part of it because we are putting in so much work, and it's not always easy for every athlete if you're not like top 5 or top 10 at the games. So I feel like many athletes that are so good, but they don't get paid as much that they deserve. Um, So yeah, that's and just like with the cuts at the games, I think that's also a thing that should be removed. I know that it's because of like screen time or something like this, but I feel like CrossFit Games, it's like each event is so different, and you should be tested in every event before you crown the fittest or like the placements under also. Uh, so if you are getting cut after like 3 or what is like 6 events or something like this, I don't feel like that's enough. You haven't showed enough to be cut at that point. So yeah, that's also a thing I hope they can change in the future.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's all completely valid, understandable, and at the end of the day, I know you do this because you love CrossFit. What is it about CrossFit that you love? What is it that keeps you going back day in, day out, putting your body through these crazy things to the point where your life has to revolve around it, the way you eat, the way you sleep, whether you go out at night, whether you can go to a birthday party. It all
Mm.
revolves around your training. What is it that you tell yourself that you love about this sport that keeps you going back?
Well, in the start, when I started or found CrossFit, it was because it was so different from what I have seen from other sports. I never seen someone lift that like so much weight and then they can run that good and then they can do muscle ups. Like it was because of that I was interested to start and wanted to make the games in the future. But also like what this has lead to now is that I see that I am a role model for many people that have another background, or the same background as me, or just living in a European country and is from Middle East, or have parents that has another ethnicity. And what drives me is just like, I just like to work hard. I I do love competitions and go to like compete, but I think for me it's like just to show up and put in the work and focus on what my focus points is that day, and do them as best as I can. And yeah, that's like what drives me.
That's amazing. And what does a typical day in your life look like on a training day?
It looks like I do train mostly at CrossFit Oslo, as I mentioned, but I also go to another gym if I want to train more by myself. It looks like that we start 8:30, and Krieger training, which is the program I am a part of or following, is having a flow, which is like they hold a warm up, which we train with all, or we warm up with all athletes that are in the gym, which is like, I don't think many camps has that, and that's so cool that we get to bond and just learn from each other. We usually do some skills and just play around and do that stuff. And then I train from 9, or like after the warm up, 9 to around 11. I rest from 11 to 1 or 2, 1, 2. So I have like around 3 hours rest. And then I do a second session and are finished around 4. Then I just lay in bed and try to recover and be like, okay, let's do this again tomorrow.
So you are
Yeah.
humans ahead. You are human. Okay, just checking.
Yes, shocker.
And what is it that you tend to eat? Do you eat a specific diet or do you just go based off of how you're feeling? What do you follow something?
I do not follow anything. I tried to count my macros before, but it wasn't for me. It just was a negative effect. And for some athlete or some people it works, but for me it wasn't. So I just eat a lot, and I eat Turkish food. I don't know. I try to eat a lot of like fruit and greens and all that stuff too, of course.
Mhm.
Uh, I would say like I eat clean, but also it's not easy to. I'm hungry all the time, so I just had to eat whatever.
Well, speaking of Turkish foods, the way we say it in Lebanon is knife, but I think you say knafa, right?
Yeah, kanafa. Yeah,
Knafa. Do you love knafa?
yeah. I think I saw it right. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I do.
So for the listeners who don't know what it is, it's actually my absolute favorite dessert. It's cheese. The closest thing to it would be, I guess, mozzarella cheese with
Mhm.
a sugar crust and like rose syrup and pistachio. And
Yes.
it is hot and the cheese is melting and it is absolutely amazing. And I'm sure that if you eat that before a session, you will fly.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of the desserts are like, oof, I could it's a dangerous place to be in if you
Turkish
have
food
too
is
much.
so good. It's
Yeah.
really tasty.
Yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah. It's a lot of like, it's heavy. A
Yeah.
lot of yeah, but it's fine sometimes, when you need a sweet treat.
Yes. Well, before we end, I'd love to kind of end on a fun facts kind of note. So the first one being, is there a fun fact about you that you like other people to know that maybe most people don't know?
Um, I don't know, like on the spot.
Like if you had to introduce yourself, hey, my name is Seher Kaya. A fun fact about me is X.
So I don't know if a lot of CrossFit people don't know this, but I was in TV show, Norwegian TV show. He was like Norwegian toughest. It's we can call it that in
Okay.
English. And yeah, it was just five girls and five boys against each other, and I got the second place and got like the toughest girl in Norway, I guess. So yeah, I that's the first thing I can think of right
I
now.
mean, that's
But
amazing. Okay, so question. Can we
right.
find this footage on YouTube?
I guess it's yeah, if you just search up like Seher Kaya, it's called Norges tøffeste.
Yeah.
It's on, yeah, it's free. Just go.
That's hilarious.
You won't understand anything, but yeah, it's out there.
I mean, it's more
So
than a fun fact, it's a cool fact.
yeah, and also I was studying during this, and I couldn't tell anyone, so nobody know where I was. So I was just away from school for 1 month, and it was rumors around that I was pregnant, and that was why I wasn't at school. So they were like, "Yes, Sarah's pregnant," and then I come back, they were like, "Where you been? People thought you were pregnant." I was like, "What?" And then I told them that, yeah, no, I was at this TV show.
Did they think you were cool because you were on TV?
Yeah, I it was a hype around it in the beginning, and yeah, it was cool. And some of the, I had some friends that were like, "Oh, you're Norway." Every time I did something lazy, or they were like, "Oh, you're Norway's, toughest. You should nail this. You should do this." And I was like, "Get out of here, get out of my face." So yeah, it's mixed.
Okay, I love it. I was not expecting that, and I really like that fact about you.
I'm glad I could come up with something good.
Well, second question is there anything that you cannot live without?
Um. I guess like my family, of course. I can't live without them. I'm so happy I can have them so much around, and they are the reason why I am the person. Like I am smiling, I am happy because of them, and I love to be around them.
That's super cute. You know, a lot of people say coffee as the
Oh,
answer to that question. And here you come with the biggest heart saying my family. And I think that says a lot about
no,
you.
no. I mean, yeah, no, it's fine. I can live without coffee.
Family, but not family.
Yeah.
Last question. If you were 15 years old again, if you look back at that 15-year-old girl, knowing what you know now, what would you tell her?
I will tell her to just be more myself. I was always like following what everyone else did, and I was like, that's cool. That like I need to do that. So when I look back, I was like, why did you just be yourself? I was so scared. I was quiet because I didn't dare to say anything because I was scared of what people will, react or anything. But then I see that's what works for me, to just speak up or say what's on my mind, even though people are gonna think that's weird, or just, yeah, just react to it. I'm like, whatever.
Mhm. What made you switch?
uh I am It was like nothing that happened, but I think I'm a person that have self-awareness, if yeah, that's correct, self-awareness, and I reflect a lot of on those kind of things. Um, so yeah, I think that was the reason. I just was tired of following what everyone else was doing, or yeah, saying, and wanted to change.
Hmm. I think that's really interesting, and I think that you've handled each question with grace. I know we talked on religion, we talked on the changes in CrossFit, and life as an athlete, and I think it just says a lot about you. I've so enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
And I can't wait to see you again. I know we met just a short time ago, but I felt like it was really special, and just getting to know you more and more is just really, really nice. Seher, you're a good person, and I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you feel better and stronger as the season goes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was so nice to talk to you. And you're my girl crush. So
Vice
I
versa,
hope to
Seher.
see you too. No, seriously. Yeah.
We're
It
gonna
was so
grab
nice.
knefa.
Yes, we have to. We have to.
Thank you, Seher.